Welcome into Profile. We've separated Profile today on WMCM into two sections. Profile for him, and at the end of the show, the ladies are going to storm the set and bring us Profile for her. So it's the guys section. What do guys like talking about? Pro wrestling. Let's dive right into it and start out with what begins every wrestling match, the entrance. Pro wrestling is a sport based on theatrics and crowd reaction. So, of course, the entrance theme is going to play a pivotal role in the development of a wrestler. The timing needs to be right, the music needs to fit the wrestler, and the crowd needs to react to the song. Nick, we're going to start with you. Let's talk about the best wrestling theme and entrance of all time.
Well, I think it's a pretty easy thing to figure out here. I'm going to go Gangrel. If you guys remember who Gangrel is, if you don't know who Gangrel is, pretty much he's a vampire. He is a professional wrestling vampire. I mean, the theme was awesome. He came up from the stage. I mean, we didn't have video of it, unfortunately, but he came up from the stage. There was fire around his feet. He had a goblet full of blood. There was this red lighting. He walked down to the stage. It was terrifying. It really set the stage for the Attitude Era, and it really, it was kind of like that thing, like where it's like, oh, is this guy really a vampire? Is this real? Like if you want a match, he'd pour blood on a guy. It was ridiculous, and it was awesome. He even had the fangs. The fangs.
Certainly.
It was that was pretty cool. I mean, I thought it was really cool just because it was so creative. It was so out of the ordinary.
That real gothic. Gothic feel.
Yeah, look at that picture. I mean, do you even think that's pro wrestling, or are you like, oh my gosh, there's a vampire totally on my TV screen
right now? It's like a Tarantino.
I need to be getting some garlic in me before.
Exactly.
Nick, you're a big fan of the spooky and eerie Brood theme song.
Yes.
What about you, Alex?
Well, talking about Gangrel, let's talk about Gangrel's leader back in the Ministry of Darkness. Let's talk about
name dropping.
Let's talk about the Undertaker here, because the Undertaker, for every WrestleMania, he's always had an extremely eerie entrance, and no better one would have to be WrestleMania 29. And 29, he came out to the ring. He was ready to fight against CM Punk, and CM Punk was getting in his head.
Great match.
And everything. It was a phenomenal match. But he was getting ready because he wanted CM Punk to know that he was not afraid. He was ready to go despite that. And we're gonna look at the entrance here. I mean, you look at you start with the normal eerie blue lighting, and then all of a sudden here you start seeing some hands. You see some hands. They're coming out as if they're coming out from the underworld. They're grabbing at the Undertaker. Kind of that they're trying to grab him back in. The
Undertaker, Alex, has had one of the best careers of all time in
without a
WWE
doubt.
history, and one of the biggest contributing factors is that entrance. It's stuck with him from the very beginning. He's had that same variation of the song at all times. And he's just always stepped it up to the next level. And just like with the Brood and Gangrel, it just kind of has that ominous and eerie feel. Fog fills the arena. And then as soon as he's done, he kind of just rolls his eyes back and the entire arena,
the
lights come back. It's a pretty cool entrance. Now, you guys went with some newer guys, some Attitude Era guys. I'm actually, when I'm thinking about entrance themes, going all the way back to one of the originals, Hulk Hogan.
Real American,
The Real American song, and that thing's used all over in all sorts of media now and entertainment. It was one of those songs, and it was the 80s, and that's what made Hulk Hogan such a star, was when that song hit, the crowd would erupt. They knew that their Real American hero was on his way. And Hulk Hogan really had an incredible theme song.
You want to talk about incredible theme songs? There's a shot of Hulk Hogan, getting in the ring. There's a shot of Kane. That's an amazing theme song. But what I want to talk about, if you want to talk about amazing theme songs, have you guys ever heard of a guy by the name of Stone Cold Steve Austin?
Oh, I've heard of Stone Cold.
Glass Shatters. Have you ever heard of another song that just erupts an arena? I mean, you could have two random dudes running around in the ring, and all of a sudden you hear that glass, and the crowd just erupts. It's one of those
right
crazy.
At the entrance.
Yeah, there's Stone Cold right there. He's got some blood on his face. That's not usually what he looks like when he comes down to the ring. But that theme, if you want to talk about just memorable themes that really made an impact on wrestling, that's one of them.
I would agree.
So the entrance sets the mood, no doubt. Let's talk now about some of the great feuds in wrestling, because the heart of it all is the ability to get two guys or even more with good chemistry with each other that fans really buy in, that these guys really actually hate each other. There's some great feuds along history. Nick, what gets your vote as the best feud of all time?
Well, starting with me, we're actually going to switch things up a little bit. I'm not going to go the conventional 1v1 or even 2v2. I'm going an entire federation versus another entire federation. See, I took the sneaky way out on that one.
I see what you're to the next level.
Exactly. In 2001, in March, what happened was WCW and ECW invaded WWF at the time, and it was phenomenal. I mean, it went until November. Pretty much what happened was Vince McMahon bought out WCW and ECW, but it turns out that his kids bought him out actually instead. They
said that McMahon signed the contract, but it wasn't Vince McMahon.
Exactly. So what happened was the kids rebelled against the father. We saw WCW and ECW taking on WWF, and what it did was it brought in a bunch of talent, guys like Booker T, Lance Storm, and later what happened is it allowed for guys like Steiner, Hollywood Hogan to come back, Rob Van Dam to stay long-term, Rey Mysterio, guys that come in later afterwards. So it had a very, very big impact on the entire company after the feud was over. But it saw a bunch of memorable things. Stone Cold Steve Austin turning his back on WWF, going to WCW, one of the biggest heel turns of all time. And I mean, there's so much other stuff. It really gave fans a sense of like picking teams, like we do in team sports. It was more of an.
And that feud actually began before it was even a real written storyline with the Monday Night Wars when WCW Nitro and WWF Raw were going up against each other head-to-head. Every week seeing who would win the ratings, who would take it to the next level. That's really when that feud began.
Yep.
Alex?
No, for me, we're going to talk a little bit more in the new era as far as the PG era and everything. People dog the PG era just for it's not the Attitude Era, but you got to look at some of the wrestlers that the PG era has brought in. And one of the best feuds, in my personal opinion, has to be CM Punk and Daniel Bryan. You got a picture right there.
Look at that.
And the thing about this handshake is that it solidifies that this was not a feud based on any personal grievances against one another. It was totally respect-based. It was saying, hey, we're both coming from the same independent backgrounds. It says that, there's no hard feelings. We just want to see who is the better wrestler. And this feud actually lasted up into Over the Limit. And then this was for the WWE title. So basically it was two guys that came from the very bottom fighting for the gold that was on the very top. And without a doubt, Over the Limit, Daniel Bryan, CM Punk, one of my favorite matches still to date.
Really?
Because of all the aggression and passion they brought into it.
What do you think, Nick? What are one of your favorite
I'm
feuds?
once again, I'm going to go back into the 80s, going old school, and I'm going Roddy Piper and Hulk Hogan in a little thing called the War to Settle the Score. Now, this may not have been the biggest, most hyped feud of all time, but when Hogan, who represented kind of the new movement, rock and roll, MTV, he had guys like Mr. T, Cyndi Lauper, Danny DeVito in his corner. And then you have Roddy Piper, who just loved playing that bad guy role, brought a guitar out that said MTV on it, broke it in the ring, and said, this is what I think of rock and roll. And the fans really bought into that.
Yeah.
And the reason I think it's such an important feud is because that set the stage for the first ever main event at WrestleMania between those two teams, Hogan's team and Piper's team. And if it hadn't been for the success of that match, WrestleMania would not exist, and Vince McMahon and the WWF would not exist. So that gets my vote for the best feud of all time. Part of an important feud, good matches. Good matches fuel what is a good feud. Let's now dive into the best match in wrestling history of all time. Nick, once again, we'll start with you. Great matching usually are well-booked feuds. They have historical significance. Great commentary goes along with it. And, of course, the impeccable storytelling that great wrestlers bring to the ring. What's your greatest match of all time?
Well, you want to bring up storytelling. I got a story for you. Now, there's a little boy by the name of Chris Benoit, okay? And he wrestles his entire life. He's brought up in Canada, one of the biggest countries of wrestling still to date. Canada is pretty much wrestling country. So in 2004, this man gets his opportunity. This little boy grown to a man now, gets his opportunity for the World Championship. His first World Championship, it's not necessarily his first opportunity, but, on the big stage.
Right,
this is
right.
WrestleMania we're talking about here. WrestleMania 22. I mean, it's one of those, it's like 10, 20, 30. It's one of those, divisible by 10 numbers, so it's like a huge deal.
That's how you know it's important.
It's a decade.
If it's
exactly.
divisible by
exactly.
10, it means something.
So this guy's in a triple threat match with none other than Triple H and Shawn Michaels, two legends in the business. Now, what Chris Benoit had to do is win the Royal Rumble to get this shot at this belt. So he came in and entered at number 1. Now, that only happened one other time before then, and just that kind of kills the moment, I guess, because it's a little bit of a sneak peek. He won. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. He did win. But what happened pretty much and why this match was so important was the fact that Chris Benoit goes into the match against Shawn Michaels and Triple H, just a huge underdog. You don't expect this guy to even, to come out of the match and even be in the ring with those two guys near the end of it. And what do you know? He ends up making Triple H tap out, obviously a future Hall of Famer and, Shawn Michaels, Hall of Famer currently losing. Winning his first belt, as you saw in that picture, Eddie Guerrero, one of his longtime best friends, who is also the WWE champion at the time, comes out. They congratulate each other. I mean, it's just a feel-good moment. Honestly, that kind of brought a tear to my eye. It made me a little sad. Yeah.
Sometimes when that underdog
Emotional.
that nobody expected to win wins it, that makes a great story as well. Alex, what do you got?
We talk about Eddie Guerrero. Let's talk about Eddie Guerrero's last match with JBL at the Great American Bash 2004 Texas Bull Rope match. Now, going back into a little bit with Eddie Guerrero is that Eddie Guerrero won the title at the No Way Out pay-per-view right before WrestleMania 20. He had beaten Brock Lesnar in what was a very extremely emotional match because he had just came back from his recovery. He was back on the road to success, and he had the title. He had just beaten Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle was out. He was the current general manager of SmackDown, and he was looking to get some old school payback on his longtime foe. And then he gives JBL the opportunity to wrestle at Judgment Day. It ends in disqualification, allowing that despite Eddie losing the match, he still retained the title according to the regulations. And as a result, JBL was offered another chance to win the belt, and it was at the Texas Bull Rope match. And despite the fact that technically JBL's back hit the back of the turnbuckle, and this was them at the Texas Bull Rope match in Great American Bash, but despite hitting the turnbuckle and Eddie hitting it with his hand, Kurt Angle awarded him the match. And this started JBL's longtime reign as WWE champion.
Yep.
Absolutely great matches. I got a lot that I'm looking at. One of my favorites of all time, Bret Hart and Steve Austin, the I Quit match at WrestleMania. We already saw the iconic image of Stone Cold bleeding profusely out of his head, but he would not quit. He never lost the match. He lost consciousness. That's a good one. I'm also looking at WrestleMania 3. Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan headlined that event, but really the match that stole the entire show at the Pontiac Silverdome in 1987, Macho Man versus Ricky Steamboat. Randy Savage and Steamboat put together an unbelievable match. Nobody knew how it was going to end all the way up until the final 3 count. It was a roll-up pin, the old schoolboy to take down Macho Man. An incredible match. We're running short on time, gentlemen. We got to get the ladies on stage, so let's move on to our most important topic, the main event, the greatest wrestler of all time. Nick, we've done it all night. We'll start again with you.
I'm going unconventional. I'm picking Y2J, the man, the Ayatollah of rock and roll, Chris Jericho. The man was the first ever undisputed champion, 6-time world champ, 7-time tag champ, 9-time IC champ. This guy has done it all. And we don't have enough time for me to go through every single accomplishment, but I'm telling you guys right now, Y2J, he's your greatest wrestler of all time.
Y2J, all time. Alex, what about you?
Well, I got to list off his accomplishments first. WCW champion 1 time, World Heavyweight champion 1 time, WWE champion 4 times, TNA heavyweight champion 5 times. That's just to list a few. And also, 1996 Olympic gold medalist. That's right. Kurt Angle, without doubt, one of the best wrestlers. He came into the business with an amateur background that could rival anyone. And then, boom, he becomes the most dominant professional wrestler due to that background.
Yeah, absolutely. Kurt Angle, what an incredible story, too, because he was, like you said, an NCAA wrestler, an Olympic gold medalist, and Vince McMahon had tried to recruit him to WWF, and he just had said no. He finally said yes, and it made all the difference in the world. He goes down as one of the greats. Mine's short, sweet, and simple. The real American, Hulk Hogan, greatest of all time. The ladies are going to take over the set when we come back. It'll be profile for her. Before we get there, let's take a short break.
L fact: University of Wisconsin-La Crosse is ranked the #2 college in the Midwest.
UW-La Crosse is ranked number 34 for out-of-state students among public universities nationwide.
UW-La Crosse is ranked as one of the most military-friendly schools in the nation.
UW-La Crosse is number 24 among medium colleges and universities for Peace Corps volunteers.
And now it's time for the ladies to take over. Why don't we get started? I'm Katy Pence. I'm Alyssa Kirchen.
And I'm Katy Couture.
We're going to jump right in, ladies. Let's talk about rule number 1 for how to make this special lady in your life very happy. Rule number 1, we don't care how big your championship belt is.
Rule number 2, we don't care about the weight class that your favorite wrestler was in.
And rule number 3, Hulk Hogan, all those other names you just said, I completely lost track of what that was. So
I think when it comes to sports, we can all say definitively that we just
don't care.
All right, ladies, now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's talk about some other things that'll make us very happy as ladies. What do you think is important to see in a man?
Well, for me, personally, I love when a man takes care of himself. When a man, not a boy, a man. He needs to groom himself a little bit.
He needs to smell good.
He needs to smell good, style his hair, just do everything right. I mean, we take enough time out of our days to get ready, to look nice, so why can't you?
I know.
Just tell me why.
It's just a little bit of extra time. It doesn't have to be a lot, you know, but if you're taking us out, it'd be nice if you showered beforehand. I mean,
yes,
you worked out like you smell. Take a shower.
Because if that were us, that would not fly. That would not fly.
Not one bit.
No. And let's see what else. Besides, obviously, a man smelling good, looking good, being smart, being rich, all of that going on. I mean, that's not too much to ask for, right? I guess something else I would like. I mean, how about food, cooking?
Yeah, for real. I mean, I'm sick of hearing, how about you make me a sandwich when we're done? How about you make me a sandwich? Like, please, turkey and cheese on wheat. That'd be great. Thanks.
I mean, I'm not a sandwich type of girl, so if you cook for me, I'd be happy. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, a man that cooks, he's sexy.
It doesn't even have to be like real hard meals.
I mean,
like,
go down the shopping aisle, go grab a couple box dinners, a couple cans of soup, and throw something together. Tell me you homemade it. I don't care. I'll be able to tell. But
yeah, you could easily trick us by saying that it was homemade, but going to like noodles and even bringing us home noodles, that would be pretty awesome.
I mean, it's the thought that counts.
Yes.
I've had a long day. Like, it'd be nice not to have to make dinner.
And it doesn't have to be always, guys. You have to remember that. It just sometimes we want to take a break. We want to be the ones that can sit back on the couch, turn the channel, and call it a day.
Watch
I'm
wrestling.
into that, sister. No. Let's talk about something else that's very important. I just got 8 inches cut off my hair.
Yes.
And the number 1 rule when it comes to haircuts, it doesn't matter if it's bad. You tell me it looks good. Okay, you suck it up and you say, it looks great.
Just remember, hair always grows back. I've noticed that most men do like it when a girl's hair is longer. But we gotta be chic too.
This is making me feel great right now.
Sometimes your hair has to be chic. You know, we gotta stick with the styles, and short hair has been coming in. So if you don't like short hair, then
We've
suck
got
it
a nice
up until
little
it grows
variance
out.
here. Some short, some medium, some long.
Yeah, exactly.
But like, your hair is like your identity. It's just, it's such a big part of who you are. You can't say, oh my God, your hair looks terrible. Like, what?
We don't tell you that when you get your buzz cuts.
Even though, let's be honest, when a guy gets a haircut, and this just might be my opinion, but I feel that he needs to grow into it for about maybe a week or two. So if you could just hold off seeing me day of haircut, that would probably be great. And then I'll just see you in a week or so when you got it growing out a little bit more.
No, but what I hate is when a guy gets his hair cut and he gets like this eensy like 1 bajillionth of an inch cut off, and he's all like, oh, I don't know, do you think it's okay? Like, it's so short now. And I'm all like, your hair's short, I just got 8 inches taken off.
Yeah,
like, I'm sorry, but it's not that big of a difference. You can hardly tell.
Now, can we talk about a big pet peeve of mine personally, and I'm sure with you ladies it's also a big pet peeve. When I'm out with my man, I do not want him looking at other girls the entire time that I'm with him. You're fine looking at a cute girl that walks by, but hey, you got to pay attention to me too. What do you guys think?
I don't know. I mean, like, obviously if a cute guy walks by, I'm going to turn around and look. Like, I'm not perfect. I just, not the whole time, like, oh, cute guy, and back to you. Like, don't let it ruin the entire day.
And maybe not in mid-conversation when I'm trying to deeply tell you about what's going on in my life, and you're like, oh, what? Yeah,
I'm totally listening, sweetie.
Exactly.
Of course you are.
It's all about timing. If I'm picking up my phone to quickly throw a text to a friend, like,
go for it.
Take a look. What I didn't see won't hurt you.
There's plenty of lovely women. It's okay to look once in a while.
And I appreciate when a woman looks good, but not when my man takes time out of my time with him to look at somebody else for longer than, what would we say, 5 seconds?
Yeah, you can't just like sit there and just like stare, like jaw open, drooling, like like that's not okay.
No,
like,
that's
you can
not cool,
look,
guys.
you can appreciate, the time she.
We all appreciate, yes. Now, what else has your pet peeves been throughout the years?
I was going to say, I think just kind of coming off of that too is the paying attention, the venting, the getting that chance to sit down and kind of say, hey, this is what my day's been like. I just need you to pay attention for a little bit. It's going to be a quick little story. Yep, I'm probably going to complain a tiny bit in it. And you might not agree with everything, but just nod along, give me a smile.
You don't even have to
pat
pay
me on the
attention.
shoulder. If the tears start coming, just hand me some tissues and just kind of make me feel that you're listening, that I'm appreciated to some bit.
I mean, you don't actually have to listen. If you just sit there and, oh, yeah, oh, that really sucks. I mean,
what
don't
happens
fix my
when you
problems.
question them about listening and they don't remember? Now, there's a problem.
I mean, if it's a serious issue, I
Dating
guess
Alyssa,
that's all
tests
right.
come in, I guess. So last Friday when I talked about this, what color was I wearing and what?
Exactly. What exact outfit was I in?
A B+ or better to pass your relationship course this semester.
Every guy that I date, I hand him a test saying these are what I approve of, I guess.
You will be graded, and the final exam will be cumulative. I hope you're ready for it. But we're going to have to take a real quick break here. We're going to take a look at some real cute fuzzy animals. Who doesn't love fuzzy baby animals? And we'll be right back after we take a look at those pets.
Meet Mike. He's a 1-year-old that likes to be the leader of the pack and seeks adventure. Like treats, meet Oreo. This lovable 4-month-old loves attention and playing around. Need a personal assistant? Meet Calvin. He likes to help you hold pages down and is good company. And here's Bella. She's a 5-year-old beagle mix who is very social, affectionate, and is excited to find her new home.
To know more about adoption for these pets or others, contact the Cooley Region Humane Society at 781-4014.
Again, the number for the Cooley Region Humane Society is 781-4014. Now let's talk about some more issues we have with our men. We're going to start by talking about being a little bit spontaneous. Now, I know it's nice to have a routine. It's nice to, have date night in, but sometimes, seriously, just pick me up from class. All right, we're going grocery shopping and we're going to make dinner together. That'd be great. I'm so sick of the same, come home. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? Let's go here, but we went there last week. I'm done with it.
I mean, I love surprises personally, so when a man surprises me, I'm all yours. Go ahead. That is perfectly fine with me. I mean, it doesn't even have to be the candies and flowers that most girls expect, you know? Just a little note. Something, a little gesture. Yes, even like a cute little note like, hi, you're beautiful, love you.
Yeah, like a little sticky note like on your folder or something so that when you open it up, you know, especially for like those bad classes that you're just like, ugh.
Right.
Be nice to have something different once in a while.
How do you feel about that, Katie?
Yeah, well, I definitely agree. I mean, it's nice to get surprises or to take like a random trip or go somewhere new. And I completely agree with Katie saying that like decisions, be decisive. Like if I have to say, well, you choose, no, you choose, you choose, you choose one more time to a guy, I am going to fall over. I mean, there's plenty of places to go, plenty of things to do, and what's even better, and another topic to kind of talk about, is when you can do something fun together that's new. Finding new hobbies, finding something exciting to do. I mean, yes, let's go on a bluff hike, but hey, let's both try something brand new. Let's go do something exciting. What do you guys think?
I feel like that's crucial to a relationship because a lot of people that don't have those hobbies that they can do together, and it's just one person going off and doing their hobby and the other person going off and doing their hobby, there's nothing to keep them together. So if they're not together at all and they just kind of do their own thing, I feel like that's what really breaks up relationships.
I don't know. I mean, like, I think it's good to have, like, things in common, but at the same time, it's all, like, if you have everything in common, it's just, like, okay, I want to do something on my own. How about you leave me alone? Go play outside or something. Like, I'm busy. Girlfriend's busy.
Oh, I believe that because if my boyfriend asked me to play, Pokemon or something like that, I would not be in for that. No way.
I do think it's fun. I mean, like, trying new things
did
together.
I play Pokemon when I grow up? Yeah.
Sure. Collected the cards, didn't do anything with it.
And did I go out and get X and Y? No.
I don't still want to do it, though. I don't know, it's fun to, like, try new things together, but I don't think that you should have, like, the same hobby over and over, that's all you do.
And I feel like girls, too, you need to remember your man doesn't want to do everything that's girly as well. So you can't say, babe, let's take a pottery class. Babe, let's go arrange flowers together.
Do you want to sit on the couch for hours and look at Pinterest and see what I want to do for my wedding?
Like,
that's my dream job. Can I just get a man who just wants to, like, make money and work and spoil me so I can just sit on the couch and, you know, be on Pinterest? Like, oh, this is so cute.
I'm sure men are just not okay with us being on Pinterest that much
and
planning our weddings on Pinterest. I'm sure if they really saw what we did.
Oh, no, it's a really good way to find, like, Christmas gifts, birthday gifts that you know we'll like, because a lot of times we have boards that say awesome things we want. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. Real?
And there's guy alternatives, too. I mean, am I going to go on ESPN.com and, like, check up on what they're doing? Probably not.
No.
Am I going to go on Reddit.com and see what they're subscribed to? Definitely not, because that could probably scare me and ruin some things. And I don't care what subreddits you're into, I guess, because there's going to be some weird ones. But I mean, that would be the same as, I guess, us being on Pinterest and doing our things and kind of getting specific like that.
I feel bad for all the guys that get dragged to the mall. I mean, I work in the mall over at Barnes & Noble. I'm a barista. And I just see these poor guys, like, loaded down with shopping bags.
And
basically just a mule for, like, their girlfriends. I'm all like, why? Why would you do that? That doesn't seem like fun at all.
Well, you know what's kind of funny is my boyfriend, he's the one where I'm the mule. I carry his stuff, so
you have to go.
So we need to switch that a little bit.
So at the end of the day, I bet you're exhausted.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the mule. Come on, I want to switch that up. I'm supposed to be the woman, right?
Exactly. There you go.
You're supposed to be the one in high heels, and he's supposed to be, like, dragging along after you, you know.
Yeah. I don't know. That's just what I think.
Well, I mean, a lot of that could put a lot of stress on you, too, if you're the one constantly carrying things. I mean, you've had a long day. You go to school, you work, I would assume so. I don't know too much about your personal life, but, and I think that at the end of the day, you just want to sit down, relax, and, I mean, what could be better?
I mean, a good massage would be good.
I mean, it's tough, you know, because we're expected to, you know, be, you know, students and having a job and doing this and this, and we have to be in heels, and we have to look good. Like, I'm tired at the end of the day. I could use a nice back rub, you know, a foot massage, something like that. That would, ooh, this is nice. I like this. I could get behind this. All right. Well, this is great. I think they'll, you know, It'd be nice if we could get this on a daily basis.
A daily
That'd
basis,
be good. It's rough. It's very rough. Well, that's all the time we have today. Be sure to tune in 4:30 on Thursday for WMCM's Week in Review.